Today I'm looking at Resistance 2, the PS3's exclusive FPS and follow-up to the console's flagship game Resistance: Fall of Man, which put the player in a hypothetical world where, instead of World War II, man faced an invasion by an infectious alien force, the Chimera. The bulk of the game takes place 2 years on, with your character, Sergeant Nathan Hale, now a member of Special Ops Forces, the Sentinels, elite forces whose unfortunate infection by the Chimera virus has been turned into a tactical advantage as their health can regenerate. Things have come on a long way since Fall of Man, with the whole thing feeling a lot slicker and quicker, and with the relocation of the game to the States allowing for an impressive variety of different locations and scenarios, and giving the opportunity for a rich colour palette. The golds and greens of the opening level's outdoor sections make a welcome change from the dingy greys and browns of the first game, and indeed of much of the competition, and combined with nicely detailed, well-designed environments, make this a very attractive game. But the real wows come from the enemies. Big-ass monsters are damn cool, and Insomniac seem to have made this their mantra for the game, pitting you against vicious creatures of Leviathan proportions and often in intense numbers. This is fun. And hey, if man is going to take on such incredible beings, they're going to need some kick-ass firepower with which to do it, and Resistance 2 delivers on that front too, with a bevy of different weapons with interesting and varied features to mix things up with, such as homing or exploding bullets, thermal sights for shooting through walls, force fields, flammable goo. Unfortunately, there are a number of things that don't feel quite right about the game. Quite an important skill in FPS design is distracting from or disguising what is often a fairly linear game structure, and sadly with Resistance 2 I felt very aware of its linearity a lot of the time, particularly in the less than fantastically implemented platforming sections. There were also 1 or 2 occasions when the lighting was so dark that you couldn't see what you were doing, and it went from being atmospheric to annoying, as well as moments where you had to die to work out what you were supposed to do. The enemy also seemed to target you a lot more frequently than they target your AI companions, which incidentally you can't swap for a real-life co-op buddy, and I also thought that the tutorial, while not strictly necessary for a straightforward FPS, was pretty poor. But I imagine that a lot of people are going to pick this one up for the multiplayer. In PvP you can have up to an insane 60 people playing, and reports so far indicate that this runs pretty smoothly, even at capacity. Players are put into small teams and given objective-based missions to complete in competition with other teams, which works well to give some structure to such a large game. There's also a really interesting co-op mode, where up to 5 of you can complete various missions, but with the unusual twist that this is class-based, with players taking on roles as soldiers, special ops or medics. The game demands real teamwork, but has also made sure all of its classes are fun to play, with the medics needing to get stuck into combat too, to drain health from the Chimera to use on your teammates. So, how about the stars? Well, I think I'm going to have to give this one 2 separate marks. The single-player campaign, while good fun with some intense firefights against awesome foes, doesn't quite reach the heights it could have, and gets a solid 4 stars. However, with the various unique and ambitious options available, the multiplayer is definitely a 5-star experience.